Welcome to Info Why, your go-to place for understanding the why behind the headlines. What would happen if we lost the internet? The internet has become one of the most integral parts of modern civilization, from communication and commerce to healthcare and governance. The internet influences almost every aspect of human life. But what if one day the internet ceased to exist? Whether due to a global catastrophe, cyber warfare, or a massive technical failure, the loss of the internet would send shockwaves through every industry and community on the planet. This video explores the immediate, short-term, and long-term consequences of losing the internet, analyzing how society would adapt and what changes could reshape the future of humanity. Immediate effects. The disappearance of the internet would trigger widespread panic and chaos, as billions of people rely on it for work, communication, and daily tasks. Here are some of the most significant immediate effects. Disruption of communication. Most modern communication methods, emails, instant messaging, social media, and even many phone services rely on the internet. Without it, people would be forced to rely on older technologies like landline phones, radio, and television. Businesses and government organizations would face challenges in coordination and information sharing. Economic impact. Stock markets, online banking, and e-commerce would collapse overnight. Millions of businesses rely on digital transactions, cloud computing, and online marketing. The financial losses would be catastrophic, leading to an economic depression worldwide. Government operations and emergency response. Governments and emergency response units use the internet for surveillance, coordination, and quick response to disasters. The absence of the internet would delay emergency response times, affecting everything from law enforcement to disaster relief efforts. Effects on society and daily life. Losing the internet would drastically change how individuals live and interact. Collapse of remote work and education. Millions of people work from home or engage in online learning. Without internet access, businesses would have to revert to in-person work models, which could result in inefficiencies and job losses. Schools and universities would struggle to continue education without digital resources. Challenges in transportation and logistics. Airlines, shipping companies, and ride-sharing services rely on internet-based systems for bookings, navigation, and tracking. Losing these services would result in significant delays, confusion, and increased costs for businesses and consumers. Impact on healthcare and medical systems. Modern healthcare depends on electronic records, online consultations, and digital diagnostic tools. The sudden loss of the internet would compromise patient care, limit access to medical records, and reduce the effectiveness of hospitals and pharmacies. Economic consequences. A world without the internet would experience a massive economic downturn. Loss of e-commerce and online services. Amazon, eBay, and other online retailers would shut down overnight, forcing businesses to rely on physical stores. Subscription-based digital services like Netflix and Spotify would cease to function, affecting millions of users worldwide. Unemployment and economic downturn. Entire industries such as IT, cybersecurity, and social media would collapse. Millions of jobs that depend on digital services would disappear, leading to increased unemployment rates and a potential global recession. Global supply chain disruptions. Factories, logistics companies, and suppliers depend on the internet for order processing and tracking. The sudden loss of digital connectivity would result in significant delays in the transportation of goods and services, disrupting international trade. Impact on media and information. News, entertainment, and information flow would be drastically altered. The role of the internet in news and journalism. News outlets rely on the internet for publishing and distributing information. Without it, traditional media such as newspapers, radio, and television would become the primary sources of news again. The return of traditional media. People would turn back to print media, radio broadcasts, and physical DVDs for entertainment. However, access to diverse viewpoints and independent journalism might decline, leading to information monopolies and misinformation and the struggle for reliable news sources. Without the internet, verifying facts would become more challenging. Governments and corporations could exert greater control over information, potentially leading to censorship and propaganda. Security and crime. While cybercrime would no longer be a concern, other security risks would emerge. Cybersecurity concerns shifting to physical threats. With no digital banking or online fraud, criminals would shift their focus to physical theft, scams, and organized crime. Increased crime and fraud. due to lack of digital security. Identity theft, ATM fraud, and document forgery could rise as criminals exploit offline systems. Government surveillance and alternative control measures. Governments may introduce stricter surveillance and alternative tracking systems to compensate for the loss of digital data. Cultural and social shifts. A world without the internet would see dramatic cultural changes. Impact on globalization. International communication would slow down, reducing cultural exchange and collaboration between countries. People would rely on letters, telephone calls, and physical travel for communication. Revival of local communities and face-to-face interactions. With no social media or instant messaging, people would spend more time in local communities, strengthening personal relationships and neighborhood interactions. Potential rise of new forms of entertainment and communication. Traditional hobbies like reading, board games, and theater could see a resurgence as digital entertainment disappears. Long-term adaptation. Humanity would eventually adapt to a world without the internet. Rebuilding a world without the internet. Governments and businesses would develop alternative communication networks, such as satellite-based systems and offline data sharing methods. Alternative technologies. Mesh networks. Radio-based data transfer and local offline servers could serve as substitutes for internet-based systems. Lessons learned and potential new global policies. The world might establish new regulations to prevent over-reliance on digital technology and encourage the development of backup systems. Finally, the loss of the internet would be one of the most significant disruptions in human history, affecting every aspect of society. While the immediate consequences would be devastating, people would eventually adapt by developing alternative technologies and restructuring industries. The event would serve as a wake-up call, highlighting the need for resilient systems and diversified communication networks. In a world where the internet is integral to daily life, considering how to prepare for its potential loss is crucial for future stability. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Stay tuned for the next one. See you soon!